Surprise, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is close to 10 p.m. here on the East Coast, and it is time for yet another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. Thanks to everyone who is joining us live right now. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. We were trying to go. Originally, I wanted to start earlier tonight, and by earlier, I meant I was going to inquire if Ashley wanted to start at maybe 6 or 5. Well, it's not 5. 5 never would have worked. But even 5 actually would have worked. 5 first, then or 6. And then I had to stay work until about 5:30, and then I had to run, and then I had to take care of some things. So I was about ready to go, and then my friend Tim got a hold of me, and it's kind of like, you want to go do something? I was like, okay, fine. Because I don't get to hang out very often, so I went and hung out for a little bit, and I was like, okay, fine, we'll start at 9:30. And Ashley's had technical issues until now, so that's the reason why we're starting so late. So welcome to the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. I'm your moderator for this evening. Joining me, as always, the true voice of professional wrestling here on the Popcast Network, and that is Ashley.
Oh, when you say that phrase, it means so much this week.
Yeah, we're not gonna beat around the bush tonight, folks. We got a lot to talk about. We got WWE to talk about, even though I don't really want to. We've got all the things going on with Ring of Honor, which is currently taping right now, and they're live. And then we've got All Elite Wrestling, which of course is what we're most important on right now. New Japan Pro Wrestling is doing more things and every single day, with Chris Jericho is going to be making his return, and so much more tonight. All under the umbrella we call the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. Ashley, let's get this WWE stuff out of the way, shall we?
Well, back in the old days, I just played this.
Oh, Lord. It's going to be one of these nights, folks.
But the problem is, if I did, I'd have to make the volume 10 times as loud to make sure it deafened you while I was speaking.
Oh, no.
This week's SmackDown was averagely poor. Raw was an utter fucking travesty. Vince is saying tonight will be a Raw for the ages and one we'll never forget. And I'm like, I hope you meant that in a serious way and not in a Kosoge way, not in a The Room way. Actually, no, because people like The Room because of how bad it is.
Hi, I like The Room.
No, but I'm trying to think of like what would be the best equivalent. Maybe Holmes and Watson.
Oh, God.
Something that is memorable for being absolutely so terrible that it's terrible. Not so bad it's good.
So bad it's bad?
No. It goes beyond bad.
Oh,
So
no.
bad it's suicide is a better option.
Oh, no.
So here comes Roman Reigns, because Reigns is here on Monday Night Yard. And I've seen better backyard wrestling shows with better production than what happened on Bloody Monday.
I've created probably better backyard wrestling.
So Vince is like, you're a SmackDown star. What the hell are you doing here? And Reigns is like, I wanted to leave this place better when I left it to go if I had to go to the other brand. But you and your spoiled children told the fans that the fans are in charge. But really, you're still running the show. And then here comes Daniel Bryan. And Vince is like, what are you doing here? And Bryan says, look, I've spent the last month in solitude, searching for answers, and I want to have a conversation with you, Vince. And now here comes Kofi Kingston. And it's like, okay, you can have a go. You know, if you wanted to talk about the title, you could have just asked, and we can talk about it. And Vince goes, "Shut up! I've come up with a great idea. I'm calling it the wild card rule, where 3 members of SmackDown can appear on Raw, and 3 members of SmackDown can appear on SmackDown Live on Tuesdays. You get what I'm saying?" And I'm like, well, clearly you don't, because you said it fucking wrong.
Accurate.
And then Drew McIntyre comes out. So then Vince goes, "Shut up! I've come up with a great idea. Time for Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns in a WrestleMania rematch.
No.
And Kofi versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title in a WrestleMania rematch." And McMahon's going, I'm brilliant, I'm a genius." I think he's having to keep saying this just to please
Himself?
people. I don't think well, yeah, only himself, because and then AJ Styles comes out and they cut to commercial, and I'm like, can we finally get to some wrestling, please?
No.
So AJ is basically saying, why are SmackDown guys coming here? You know, and I think this was the bit where he said, you know, free talents from SmackDown can go to SmackDown tomorrow, if you catch my drift. And that's where he flubbed. And then Rollins showed up and said, AJ didn't build SmackDown. It's been there for 20 years. It was fine before him, and it will be fine without him. So it's like, oh, they want to go at it and have a fight. And McMahon's like, no, we're going to do it tonight. You're going to team up to take on a tag team, which I'll bring from the back. You know, and look how great I am. And how great is he? Who do they put Rollins and AJ against? Lashley and Corbin.
Good God, why?
Because suicide is a better option. Basically, the finish came with Styles hitting a phenomenal forearm despite being the illegal guy. Corbin dodged it and hit Seth instead, and then Styles was just like, huh. And then walked to the back. No indication like he actually meant it. No, there was no like smirk. You just walked away expressionless. It was just like, I don't get this. Miz is awaiting Shane backstage. So Sami Zayn comes out and says, what are you going to complain about tonight? And I'm like, Sammy, you shouldn't have said that. You really shouldn't have said that. But then the interesting thing is, like, he's trying to cut this promo, and Renee and Corey just keep talking over him, saying, you know, somebody should shut him up. And Corey says, you should listen. He speaks the truth. And then here comes Strowman, who chases after Sammy into the back. Managed to grab him. Meanwhile, Lucha House Party are coming out for a match, except they then cut to the back, who's managed to actually capture Zayn. Basically, as he was trying to escape from a garage door, he got him and throws him into a dumpster. And then as he's about to walk off, the garbage truck pulls up, approaching the dumpster. And he picks up the dumpster. And rather than Braun going, "Whoa, there's somebody in it," he just shrugged his shoulders and walked off. So Sami Zayn got crushed to death in a trash compactor.
And then, spoiler alert, it became like Halloween Havoc when the Big Show, when he was the Giant, got shoved off the roof of Cobo Hall and then showed up 10 minutes later for the main event.
It became like what happened with Braun. Except they made that like somehow he survived and sort of broke out the back by causing it to break.
Right.
Even though it was a different truck. Lucha House Party beat 3 jobbers. So the jobbers are facing jobbers. Why? Natalia, Naomi, and Dana Brooke, with apparently tits that are growing as big as Charlotte's now, all getting hand-perfumed and handwritten invites to wear formal attire to a Lacey Evans match, which was acted nearly as well as The Room, except The Room was entertaining. So now we get Ricochet versus Robert Roode for Ricochet's Money in the Bank qualifying spot. In which case, why did they announce Ricochet in the first place?
Qualifying matches. They're a wonderful thing. They're not a bad thing. They're a good thing. No?
Well, the reason they gave is because Roode beat him 2 weeks ago. Guess what? Ricochet hits the 6:30 50-50 booking, so there was no point in doing the match in the first place.
God. And people wonder why. The ones that have listened to this show for so long understand why I tuned out on WWE a long time ago.
They then announced Samoa Joe versus Mysterio for the US title at Money in the Bank. So practically the third straight show. If you don't count, obviously, it was a 4-way at Fastlane.
Right.
So Mysterio and Dominic meet up with Heath Slater, and Mysterio wants Dominic to get him some water. Is this a jibe at Lio Rush? And then this was interesting because Dominic just walked off, and then Joe was sort of shot, basically walking sort of directly behind him, stalking him, as if to go, "Oh wow, so we're going to commercial. Clearly, the idea is Dominic's been laid out." But when we come back, Joe's going, "Hi there, Dominic. I'm Samoa Joe. I know you've been around the business with your dad Ray and your uncle Eddie. Although I will note, when he said uncle, he did air quotes. So it was just like, oh, we're bringing that storyline back." And basically said, what I did to your dad at Mania, it will be just the same, if not worse, at Money in the Bank. So rather than just like attack him and sort of like be the sort of wild, crazy man that he is, he just wanted a diplomatic statement. Mm-hmm. So then we had Lacey Evans taking on Ali Katrina, who may or may not have been Alex Sky, indie wrestler, who I've heard had some decent matches on the indie scene. What did you do with Lacey Evans? She got knocked into the corner. Lacey did her weird fucking Bronco Buster. hit her with the women's right, and won in about 40 seconds. Why should I give a fuck about Lacey Evans? She's supposed to be a credible competitor, and she's having squash matches against jobbers.
That's pretty much the truth.
Lacey cuts a promo on all the women that are there. Because Alexa Bliss was randomly there, even though she wasn't there earlier, because Alexa's heel, even though people are sick of her being heel and want her to be face now. Because creative have done such a terrible job with that. Becky interrupted. Probably early, maybe. Because it seemed like Lacey was still trying to say stuff, but got cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Becky attacked her. Then, interestingly, no interview promos or no phone promos. Daniel Bryan just looks directly at the camera and talks, which was a nice little Daniel Bryan promo for the main event. And then here come the Usos sneaking about backstage. We'll get to that. Viking Raiders beat Ryder and Hawkins with the Viking experience. Crowd didn't give a fuck. Then Firefly Funhouse. One of a very few decent points.
Of course it is.
Mercy the Buzzard has already killed the Wandering Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit, I can't even remember. And then, Bray Wyatt said, why don't we have a picnic? And there's these kids that are all completely sort of glum and are like, why am I here? And everyone's going, they've been live watching Raw for the past 2 hours. And that's the kids' reactions to watching Monday Night Raw.
That is a very believable answer.
Well, no, because the kids would actually be dead and sort of cutting themselves, which the sponsors would absolutely love.
Who said they're not dead? Look how stoic they are.
Yeah, I'm sort of the thing about the Bray Wyatt thing, because I might as well talk about it here because I don't want to mention it again with SmackDown. Part of me is wondering whether this Firefly Funhouse thing is actually like in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, all a ruse.
Could be.
As in, what I'm now wondering is whether this is what Bray sees in his head.
It's very possible. That's actually a well-known
as the way he's changing. Because the more and more he's doing stuff, like the way he was sort of holding the lamb and sort of petting it, it just seems more and more like it is just the old gimmick, but it's just how we're sort of seeing it, like how Mysterio could create a vision of him being the good guy, whereas actually he's the bad guy in that trailer that released on the same day. Because when he said, all you have to do is let me in, the other previous times when he's done it, he's been very sort of jolly about it.
Yep.
But he looked way more serious for way more number of seconds before then goes smiling and saying, bye, see you next week. So it gradually, I think it's showing up. So Roman Reigns faced Drew McIntyre in an okay match that I didn't want to see again. Except, oh look, here comes Shane McMahon for the DQ, and then here's Elias. So free talents from SmackDown, free talents from Raw, and here's Elias. What's 3 + 1, Owen? I know you can't do math, but apparently WWE can't either.
4.
Right. So Elias picked up Reigns so McIntyre could take him out with a Claymore kick because basically Shane got ran off by Miz with a steel chair. So Shane's running from the Miz, hid behind a wall, and Miz sort of disappeared. And then Charlie Caruso tried to interview Shane. Just like randomly coming up as if it's, hello, I'm Curtis Hanson from To Catch a Predator. Or Chris Hansen, is it?
Yes.
I just, oh. So Shane ran off and she's like, let's go follow him, as if it's like, oh wow. Are we Rob Feinsteining this? Which sort of did, because he got to a limo, waited at the door for 3 seconds, because, oh look, here's Miz with the steel chair. And they had a brawl, but then Shane escaped in the limo, I guess. So now Gallows and Anderson versus the Revival. As they replay the backshaving skit. But then here come the Usos. And say, we got a new product called Usi Hot. Which basically makes you feel rather roasting if you use it. And basically the Usos did this to the Revival because then all of a sudden they're sort of itching about in their trunks because, oh look, they put the thing on their dicks and it's funny.
No, it's not.
They go up the ramp to the Usos and offered them some water, which they literally poured on their crotches, and then the Usos goes, you're supposed to drink it, not pour it on you. It's sweat activated. It's just made it worse. And Revival ran off to the back, and there was no match. Why the fuck should I care? Then Kofi does a promo. Seth also did a promo, which I didn't mention, direct to camera again, regarding him and AJ and whatever. Here comes No Way Jose. And here comes Lars Sullivan's music. And I'm going, hang on. 4 + 1 is
5.
And Vince at 3. What the fuck is going on? Basically, Lars Sullivan murdered everybody. Apart from the women. All the male conga line and Jose got murdered. And then they had Naomi being inducted into the Boys and Girls Club Alumni Hall of Fame, which was nice. And then Vince is on the phone and said, oh, Elias and Shane didn't count as part of the wild card rule. And I'm like, wait, so what? And then Lars went in the office and went, I guess it's 4 people from each show that can appear on the other brand. And I'm like, what?
No.
So then we get 20 minutes, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. And after 43 seconds, they go to commercial. And they did it again with about 7 minutes left as well. Kofi hits the Trouble in Paradise. Referee counts 1, 2, 3, because they literally only had about a minute left because they were running out of time to make the ref look like he was doing a fast count. It was a very good main event, but because of the bloody interruptions and everything, and because of how shit the rest of the card was, it was terrible. Keep in mind, the one woman's match on this show went 39 seconds. And that was a Lacey Evans match. Dear fucking God. Also worth noting, there's normally maybe about 15 advert breaks during the show. Monday night there was about 20. So they're having to run more ads because they're not getting the ratings that they were that the advertising companies were promised. So they're having to run more ads to counter that. And we all know that everybody likes the ads in wrestling, don't they?
Is it bad? I really want to see Fox cancel them.
We'll get that into the news. But first, we have to talk SmackDown. Problem is, I could say SmackDown's the better show, but that's like saying water is wet.
Another party.
Here comes AJ saying, I can crash SmackDown. Here comes Sami Zayn. No explanation, really, about what the fuck happened with the bloody dumpster, in all honesty. And then Styles basically, the only stuff was Styles saying, I can smell you, and he was basically saying, take a shower, and the fans were just doing, hit the showers, and Zayn is like, I did. And then here comes New Day. And so he's defending the title against he didn't mind defending it against either of them, and then later on Shane said no, it's both of them. I don't know. Kevin Owens' birthday is today, so he's taking the day off. Then it's Ali versus Andrade, the guys that lost names. It was a decent match, except, oh look, Randy Orton interferes and bloody RKO's both of them. Why? So, yeah. Then we have like a 4-minute video package covering Roman Reigns' career.
Why?
I do not know.
Why?
These are rhetorical questions.
I want a serious answer. Why?
That's the serious answer. The serious answer is 25th letter of the alphabet, because I have no clue either. So here comes Shane saying that the only worthy tag team of having the belts are Daniel Bryan and Rowan. And I'm like, wait, what? We're sticking Daniel Bryan, one of your most talented wrestlers, in the tag team division. And then here come the Usos. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's 4. Right? That's 4.
Yeah.
So the Usos are going to face Bryan and Rowan for the vacant tag titles. But then Finn Balor sends in a video from Ireland saying that he wants to become Finn 2 belts, just like Becky did. In a pretty decent match, but with nonsensical sort of stuff at the end, Rowan pins one of the Usos to win the actual vacant titles. Not Daniel Bryan. Rowan.
What?
And Harper's going, it's another day in purgatory. You know what that means. Then Shane is talking about how the winner of Money in the Bank is almost guaranteed to win the championship. And then here comes The Miz to attack him from behind. And then the B team show up on the ramp and beat the shit out of Miz. So hold on. That's 4. And then Miz showed up. How many is that, Owen?
I lost track.
4 + 1.
5, of course.
Yeah, we're losing count again. Is it 5? Is it 4? Does the Miz one not count because, he's fucking Maurice? I don't know.
It only counts when it's sensical for the storyline for it to count.
And then Daniel Bryan and Rowan are happy backstage and run into heavy machinery. And I'm like, oh shit, an actual tag team. So then we had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville defeating Ember Moon and Carmella, with Mandy pinning Ember Moon. Which I can't remember who it was. One of the people that does stuff for some of the dirt sheets and opinion places saying, so we've got all these wrestlers that people are invested in and like, and the talented one gets pinned by the mock porn star in Mandy.
So lame.
And then here come Asuka and Kyrie and Paige. She's now traded up to manage real talent. And apparently they're going to have a tag team match next week. So then Matt's interviewed about Jeff, because they're saying Jeff got injured by Lars Sullivan. And then R-Truth came in, saying that Lars is like nobody that he's ever faced. With Kayla running off because, oh look, it's Lars Sullivan who beats Matt into the restroom, who's never seen again. And R-Truth gets put through a table backstage. Either Lars Sullivan is going to cause a serious injury because something's going to go wrong, or, and apparently this is being brought up again, considering this is what caused his bloody traumatizing sort of stage fright issues a few months back, they're bringing up how Lars Sullivan was a racist and a sexist before he was signed by WWE. And a lot of people are saying double standards because when they found out that Jessica Havoc said the N-word back in the day, she got released or sort of fired immediately or from being consideration. Yet Lars Sullivan is like, oh, well, we can ignore this.
They've got some big plans for him. I don't understand why.
Yes, but if the mainstream sponsors find out about Lars Sullivan's thing and they're going to push him as big as they are, the sponsors are not going to be happy.
That's fine. I mean, anything to stick it to this company right now, I'm totally okay with.
Aleister Black explaining that he is the wrath and salvation and apologizes to opponents for his need to prevail at their expense. Why is he sat down doing promos when he could be doing wrestling matches to prove the same point?
Yep.
It's as if we haven't seen him wrestle. What the fuck was the previous 2 months? Even if you don't watch NXT, what was the past 2 months?
Good question.
And then Kofi beat AJ and Sammy to retain in a pretty decent match. As I say, sort of Sammy looked really good and showed that he could actually be in a world title picture.
Good. He deserves to be.
Xavier sort of came out to try and support his man, unsurprisingly. And then Kevin Owens runs out from nowhere and attacks him. Zayn tried to capitalize on Kofi being distracted by this, but Kingston hits Trouble in Paradise to win. And then Kayla interviews Kofi at bloody ringside and says, is Kevin in your head? And Kofi's like, he's not in my head and they'll be held to play at Money in the Bank. Half of this promo is said as the bloody logo at the corner says we're going off the air is there.
Wow.
Again, what the hell is going on with these timing issues? The one time they did it wrong was when they gave that whole Ronda and Stephanie thing 5 minutes before the end. But that's the only other time when it hasn't looked like they've had to rush the finish, because I still feel it still feels like they're doing stuff as if there is an overrun, even though we've established for the past 3 months there is no overrun. I have no fucking clue. No absolute clue at all. Then again, by the looks of it, neither do WWE. Case in point. WWE fired Raw's head writer last week. Apparently because he pissed off bloody Ranjin Singh.
Oh, God. What did Dave Kapoor do this time?
Apparently the guy's attitude was not the right attitude. You know, instead of trying to sort of commit to sort of doing good script writing as well.
Right.
He was getting sort of lackadaisical on certain things, so they basically fired him. And this is before the worst Raw in probably memory. And yes, I would say it's even worse than that one when everybody said it was the worst Raw, and they had to press the reset button 4 months ago. Or 5 months ago, whatever. That's what we're getting to, in all honesty. When Big E was asked about Lars Sullivan's previous history, his racist and offensive posts, Big E said many are aware, if true, he has to bear the albatross of being a bigot and working in a company that is now filled with minorities.
Oh, wow.
Also, they're going back to Saudi Arabia.
No.
June 7th. Because reasons. Goldberg's going to be on the show.
And once again, we will not be covering the show.
Oh, I'm tempted to, because I want it to be a fucking clusterfuck. Speaking of clusterfucks, all of us, you know, independent sort of talkers are going to be out of a job soon, I think. Because WWE in their business partner summit confirmed that they are getting back into podcasts, because they've noticed that the number of people listening to podcasts and duration has tripled for millennials and Gen Z. So in the next few weeks, they will be announcing an official podcast partner.
What?
Some people are cynically going, if you see Conrad Thompson driving a brand new Lamborghini around anywhere, you might know who. I don't think he'd do that, but I mean, if the offer's there, I don't think he'd say no, in all honesty.
Maybe not.
Then here's the other thing that happened. It's like, it's weird. So, before Raw was on the air, Titus O'Neil and Mojo Rawley did promos on the stage that were filmed for WWE.com, which I'm trying to work out why. And then it got even worse by SmackDown having the Iconics doing it and Buddy Murphy. We're doing promos in the bloody dark match sort of segment bits before and after shows or whatever.
The hell?
I don't know. Apparently, also, they're thinking of uploading nothing during their product because they feel that putting clips up of the shows during the wrestling is making people not watch the wrestling and watch the clips anyway. After the quality of this week's show, nothing would have fucking saved it. And slightly more positive news, Moro's agreed a new deal to remain as lead announcer for NXT. So he's sticking around. And announced on Monday, NXT TakeOver 25 from, as widely believed to be rumored, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Connecticut. I'm saying it on purpose wrong. Yay. Which reminds me, I now need to find out the taping results for NXT. But before that, let me see if there's anything else that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Dominic Dijakovic has undergone surgery for a torn meniscus.
Huh.
So I hope that isn't too serious because that's going to affect NXT, considering the way that angle's been going. See if I can find it. Christ, how many things got posted over the week? God damn it. There's that. There we go. So here's the other upset. I guess Showtime Percy Watson is out of a job because Nigel and Moro were joined on commentary for the next few weeks of NXT by Beth Phoenix.
Interesting.
And then in a dark match, Trevor Lee beat Shane Strickland on the NXT tapings. And I'm like, what? So the Viking Raiders were wanting to vacate the NXT tag title since nobody can beat them. But the Street Profits challenged them to a title match. Keith Lee beat Cesar Bononi. Kushida beat Kona Reeves with Drew Gulak watching on. Vanessa Bourne beat Jesse Elaban. The Viking Raiders and the Street Profits thing ended in a DQ when Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch and the Forgotten Sons got involved. Then the Viking Raiders laid the titles on the ground, bowed, said thank you, and left. So they wanted to vacate them, were put in a match where you thought they were going to, drop them and sort of pass the torch. But no, they're just going to vacate them. Only bit of what I don't get sent doesn't make sense of what happened. Zia Lee beat Rachel Evers. There was an Undisputed Era segment with basically it was a beatdown and made the save. Matt Riddle made the save. Mansoor Al Shahil beat Shawn Maluta. Then Velveteen Dream got interrupted by Tyler Breeze. I guess it's to cover up Dijakovic being injured. So I'm guessing it's going to be Tyler Breeze versus Velveteen Dream now at TakeOver. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel beat Team 3.0. How long that name sticks, who knows? But they won. I mean, they lost, but they were actually on the show. And they announced it's going to be O'Reilly and Fish from Undisputed Era versus Street Profits versus Oni and Danny versus Forgotten Sons in a four-way for the vacant NXT tag titles at TakeOver. Candice LeRae beat Reina Gonzalez with the Four Horsewomen getting involved, but Io Shirai made the save with a kendo stick. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish then beat Riddle and Gargano. Basically with shenanigans behind the ref's back. Mia Yim beat Bianca Belair. Kushida then beat Drew Gulak, with Gulak not being happy about the result. And then Lorcan and Birch versus the Forgotten Sons ended in a DQ when the Street Profits Undisputed Era got involved. Colvin led the rest of the Undisputed Era in using a ladder to attack Jackson Riker of the Forgotten Sons. Cole got up a ladder and said, Gargano and Riddle takeover will be undisputed. And they all posed in or around on or around the ladder. So that's implying to me that there's going to be some sort of ladder match, maybe. No indication at the taping, though, as to how. Just that it was. Because probably reasons. Trying to see if there's any other notes that I'm trying to think of from the other tapings that happened, if I can find them. Where's the taping results for Impact? Actually, what am I doing that for? I know whose tweets to go to find them. Dave Muscarella saved me because I know you were there. The farcical thing that's worth mentioning, I would say, at least on the second night of tapings, they had to ask people to fill in behind Josh and Don to make it look like there was a large crowd at the ECW arena.
Wow.
So does that tell you how they're going? Also, when he got there, Dave, he paid for the 8th row and got upgraded to the front row for nothing. We're talking about 5-star wrestling level of bloody shit here. So with Impact Wrestling, Rascals beat OVE for Explosion, and cousin Jake Dina beat Wrecking Ball Lazursky. The tapings properly started off with a knockout battle royal with a bunch of women, including Solo, Darling, and Ashley Fox, and Carissa Rivera and Tasha Steeles. So Tessa looks like she's won, but then in runs Disco Inferno and eliminates Tessa to win the knockout battle royal. Oh no, we haven't killed this shit. I mean, yes, intergender, but when it's intergender with Disco, fucking hell. Then we had Su Yung versus Rosemary in a Demon Collar match, which Rosemary won, and then dragged her to the back with the chain. And apparently on the second night, she was doing her photo ops with Su Yung on the chain and everything as well. So, crazy shit. Killer Cross beats Eddie Edwards, and then afterwards snaps the kendo stick in half. Elgin gets DQ'd in his match against Rich Swann for hitting the referee in what was said to actually be a pretty good match. Willie Mack coming in for the save, and then Johnny Impact beating the shit out of him. So it's like, oh. Sami Callihan beats Fowler Bar, although Scarlett did take out both the Chris brothers, so intergender. Taya beat Madison Rain to retain the knockout title. Then Rosemary and Su Yung come out, with Rosemary wanting to go at the title, I guess. North challenge LAX for the tag titles, which LAX retain. Disco's got a mic during his match with Ashley Vox, with Tessa runs in with Disco running away, causing no contest. The quote here from Dave Muscarella: "This Disco stuff is awful. I thought we were past this crap." Yay! Then in an exhibition showcase, Dez beats Ace Austin, P.E. Williams, and Rohit Raju. Matt Striker's in the crowd randomly. And then RVD versus Tommy Dreamer. in the ECW arena. Again, I think this is telling. Another quote from Dave. If there was a Heroes of Wrestling show in 2019, this match would be on it. I think that's telling me that it's not that good. And it's Legends trying to get on. So then RVD wins with a 5-star frog splash, but then the North run out and attack both guys. And then the lights go out, and oh, look, Sabu and Melissa are here. Why? Actually, why? So, day 2 for Explosion. Dez pins Jake Crist. Then for the tapings itself, Disco Inferno versus Tessa Blanchard, with Disco saying, "Tonight I'll be your daddy," which Tessa wins in 30 seconds. This is how Tessa looks strong, allegedly. Then Moose, Ethan Page, and Josh Alexander are in the ring for a promo. And then Moose and Don Callis get into an argument after the North run down ECW. The Dinas beat the Desi Hit Squad. In the no DQ match between Killer Cross and Eddie Edwards, Sandman runs in and helps Eddie get the win. And afterwards, they play Enter Sandman and drink beers in the crowd. And Sandman gives him his kendo stick. Because apparently that symbolism means something? Maybe? Mm-hmm. Willie Mack and Rich Swann beat Johnny Impact and Michael Elgin because Elgin and Johnny bumped into each other. So Elgin just walked to the back. So that happened. Rosemary versus Taya Valkyrie in a non-title match with Su Yung still on the chain. Except here comes Jessica Havoc with James Mitchell, who takes out Rosemary and Taya and leaves with Su Yung on the chain. Can we kill this fucking demon gimmick? It only works when you have people that have good chemistry with each other, like Rosemary and Ali. Su Young's better than this. Jessica Havoc's better than this. Rosemary is definitely better than this. Taya is better than this. James Mitchell, clearly not better than this. Why is he still here? Madman Fulton wins a 2-on-1 handicap match because of reasons. Then OVE versus Falabar and Scarlett Bordeaux, which is weird. Scarlett hitting the Doomsday device, by the way, on one of the Chris brothers. But OVE wins after Dave Chris hits Falabar with a roll full of quarters.
Okay.
OVE attacks Scarlett, but Tessa Blanchard makes a save. So I guess Scarlett is face now, randomly. Confused. Jordan Grace murders Kira Hogan, practically. Doesn't actually. It's not Lucha Underground. Which is interesting because Kira Hogan's the heel now. She don't give a shit about anything. Which is interesting for Jordan, which we'll get to. Then the Rascals versus LAX. There's a ref bump for their tag title match. The second ref comes in and the Rascals win the title, but the first ref reverses the decision, so LAX retain via DQ. Dusty finishes are allowed, even in companies that don't have Dusty or any relation of Dusty. Su Yung hit a sidewalk slam on the ring apron, which looked like it may have killed Alicia Edwards. So that happened. Desi Hit Squad come out to distract Cody Deaner in his match with it's cousin Jake actually facing Ace Austin, but Cody gets distracted, which allows Ace to get the win. So basically, Ace had nothing to do with the interference. It's just the Desi Hit Squad and the Deaners thing. So, and then Moose in the North lose to RVD, Sabu, and Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer saying the ECW arena is the house that Sabu built. RVD's over 100 concussions and is still flying higher than ever. And that Impact is like ECW, it's a bunch of misfits and cast-offs. And ended the show plugging House of Hardcore's show in there next month. What the fuck? And then, as if it didn't get any worse, the other show happened. The Code Red show. I don't know if there's any results for that.
Pretty sure I saw it somewhere.
Yeah. I'll probably find it myself.
I got it.
I'm just quickly trying to look through the news as well.
I got Code Red.
So Chima's teaming up, we now know, with T-Hawk and El Lindemann to face SCU at Double or Nothing.
Yep.
That's New Japan stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. That's New Japan stuff that I'll talk about in a minute.
More AEW stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to... I need to click that. Oh, yeah. WWE... Well, I shouldn't say WWE. The XFL announced that they're going to have major TV dealings with ABC, ESPN, and Fox for the XFL. All the matches are, barring a few days where they're gonna be on Thursdays. Most of it is going to be Saturdays and Sundays. Which means, because of timing and everything, there will be an XFL game going head to head with WrestleMania next year.
God, that's dumb. God, that's dumb.
I guess they're trying to capitalize on the people that aren't interested in wrestling, but considering how much of a crossover that they're supposed to be, oof. Then again, what's the Money in the Bank pay-per-view going up against, Owen?
I really don't know.
The final episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, Lord.
So, you know. Also, the interesting thing is, then the companies aren't even paying for the rights to actually have it broadcast for the next 2 years. All they're having to do is cover the costs of production for televising the matches, which is a bit crazy, I would say. Let me get the other bit. So we now know that it's being called the Casino Battle Royale as part of the pre-show at Double or Nothing, with weird fucking stipulations. I.e., we're making sure that the show doesn't overrun. So it's 21 people. They start off with 5 in the ring rather than 2. And then every 3 minutes, a new wave of 5 people come in. And then lucky number 21 will come in on their own last. So in theory, all 21 people will be in the ring within about 15 minutes. Because of reasons. Ross and Marshall Von Erich have signed multi-year deals with MLW to be there for a while, which is, you know, nice to see. I'm trying to see if the other bit of news. And Helico signed with All Elite as well.
Yeah, I just saw
that. Dean Ambrose has joined a cage fighter movie where it looks as if he's playing the villain or something. And then in the one that really shocked me, I love the fact that WWE are trying to make news of, oh look, Araya Daivari versus Tony Nese for Money in the Bank is news, and I'm like, Daivari won the bloody number one contenders match last week. Why did it take you a week to announce that it was going to be at Money in the Bank? Seriously. So here's the big one. AEW is going to be on UK pay-per-view. ITV box office picked up the rights, which means that the pre-show thingy that they have, trying to think, the buy-in, the hour-long pre-show, which they're now calling it, as well as the before the bell, the pre-event show, sort of hyping up the card, which actually be broadcast for free on free-to-air digital television over here in the UK. The other interesting twist, the pay-per-view is going to be $14.95 in the UK. So traditional UK pay-per-view prices. That works for about $20. I noticed that apparently somewhere in one of the US cable suppliers and whatever is charging $60 for Double or Nothing. So I think we're getting a good deal here in the UK. Dramatically. The other thing that was worth noting that I saw on that, the other events that were noted to be on pay-per-view were the obvious one that you'd expect, Money in the Bank. And here's the swerve, the roast of Ric Flair.
Random.
Is going to be on US pay-per-view, at least on some networks. Huh? So quickly going through the New Japan Wrestling Dontaku stuff.
Did you get the results for Code Red?
Probably not. You might as well go through them now, quickly.
Oh, real quick, I also want to announce that Jerry Lynn is signed with All Elite Wrestling as their coach.
Good.
That's officially today. And, well, we talk about it in Helico, too, so that's... Matt Morgan is now a mayor in Florida.
He's mayor, yeah. He made mayor. He's nearly as bad as Kane.
Okay, so we had Rich Swann, Ace Austin, Trey Smiley, Evander James, and Mena Tequila, who is the House of Glory Crown Jewel champion. The stipulation basically was if Swann, who is current X Division champion, by the way, or Mena Tequila got pinned, they lost the title. And Swann wins with a 450 on James. And then we had Moose against Ken Broadway against Anthony Gangoni. He's also the champion for House of Glory. He won with a go to sleep. The Rascals against the North. And it looks like Zachary Wentz got the win. No, incorrect, apparently. I got it. So yeah, the North got the win with with Ethan Page getting the pin. I'm trying to read these results. Wonderful. Tessa Blanchard and Violette defeated Scarlett Bordeaux and Sonia Strong. Then we had Michael Elgin defeat Willie Mack with the Elgin Bomb. And tag team action with Johnny Impact and Taya defeating Eddie Edwards and Alicia Edwards, with Johnny Impact actually getting the pin. on Alicia Edwards. We saw LAX successfully defend the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships against OVE, which the Chris brothers, and the New York Wrecking Crew of Smooth Blackmon and Chris Seaton. With LAX winning the match. And in the main event, Sami Callihan defeated Tommy Dreamer.
Wow. That sounded distinctly average.
Not an incorrect statement. New Japan.
Yeah, Wrestling Dontaku. Big stuff happened. First off, Taichi beat Jeff Cobb to become never openweight champion.
That's interesting.
He's being challenged Ishii to the match at Dominion because of reasons. At least I think it's Dominion. I'll check on the New Japan page in a minute. Dragon Lee beat Taiji Shimori to retain the title, saying that he's waiting for Hiromu to return. And then on night 2, X was revealed to unsurprisingly be El Phantasmo. And El Phantasmo did look sort of special, so I guess that's the positive out of it. Then, all of a sudden, midway through the show, Naito challenged Ibushi for a rematch for the IC title, which was accepted. And then Tanahashi showed up and said that he'll be back at the Best of the Super Junior finals and will try and reclaim the title again, with Jay White showing up. So it looks as if, I think it's now been confirmed, Tanahashi versus Jay White is happening on the Best of Super Junior finals in a month. And then Okada beat Sanada to retain the IWGP Heavyweight title. And then all of a sudden the lights go dark. Jericho shows up, now declaring himself the Painmaker. And then he's just like, I'm gonna win! I'm gonna win! And I'm like, dear God, Chris, can you lay off the caffeine? Please. So, they also announced the Best of the Super Juniors schedule and matches, which start up on Monday. I won't go through sort of all the blocks and whatever. All I will say is A block has Taka Michinoku, Titan, Kanemaru, Marty Skrull, Jonathan Gresham, Sho, Shingo Takagi, Dragon Lee, Tiger Ishimori, and Tiger Mask. So yeah, we're going to get Dragon Lee, Tiger Ishimori matches, Shingo matches with both of those two, Jonathan Gresham with all those guys, Marty Skrull with those guys, Titan with those guys. That looks very strong. And then B block will have Robbie Eagles, Flip Gordon, El Desperado, Bandido, El Phantasmo, Will Ospreay, which means yes, we're getting Bandido Ospreay rematches, Bushi, Taguchi, Yo, and Rocky Romero. If you take out the last 4, sorry Bushi, Taguchi, Yo, and Romero, the first 6 should have ridiculously awesome matches against each other. The first show will be a rematch of Dragon Lee versus Ishimori, apparently, for the main event. I might as well quickly, if I can find out, go through what the main events are for the shows. If I can get enough fucking tabs open and the computer doesn't decide to die. Right, so let's stop there for now. So night 1, as previously mentioned. Oh wow, Brody King's going to be on the undercard for some of these Super Junior matches. Okay. Taguchi versus Yo is main eventing day 1 of Block B. Really? Not Bandito or El Fantasma. Well, I guess because they're not well known enough. Some weird stuff there. Day 2 of Block A is Dragon Lee versus Show, not Marty and Taiji. Some of this blocking is weird. I guess I'll just have to look for the matches that to be standing out. Sunday, May 19th. No. Osprey versus El Fantasma is happening apparently June 22nd. Or sorry, May 22nd. What I'm intrigued about is if and when the final matches, by the looks of it, are they doing it in a different order or something? I don't know. So A block's being finished off with Kanemaru versus Taka, or have they not put them in order? No, they haven't put them in order yet because they don't know what order is going to be in play. I don't know when Bandido and Osprey are facing each other. I can't be bothered to look through sort of the rest of it. The big stuff, though, the Best of Super Junior finals, as confirmed, as previously mentioned, Tanahashi versus Jay White, and obviously the Best of the Super Junior final. And then for Dominion, Okada versus Jericho, Ibushi versus Naito, and Ishii versus Taichi. So June 9th is going to be interesting, which is a Sunday. Which is going to be the same weekend as bloody Saudi. So we're all going to be bloody knackered by that stuff. God damn it. Dark Side of the Ring aired tonight regarding Gino Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
They confirmed that Paul Bosch is not Gino's father in a clip that was cut out of the documentary because the documentary mainly focuses on the last days and what happened rather than the other controversy that people wondered about. So they put it as a bonus clip. I would not be surprised if that aired soon, though, because they announced that with the wrestlers coming on air in 2 weeks, basically after this finishes, in the 9 p.m. slot, Viceland will be airing extended cut versions of the 6 Dark Side of the Rings over the first 6 weeks of the wrestlers being on. Which they've said will include footage that was cut from the previous ones. So I would not be surprised if that gets in there that way. Another thing from Double or Nothing, Dustin Thomas is in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is nice. Also, due to circumstances beyond their control, the Tony Storm B Priestley match that was supposed to be happening next week won't be happening anymore. So whether that's because B Priestley's part of AEW,
Wouldn't surprise me.
that'd be the most likely thing, in all honesty. Also, interestingly, Smash Wrestling have announced a partnership with OWE. Chima's promotion. So they'll be doing some talent exchanges and everything. Just trying to get my Bellator and UFC stuff up from the shows over the weekend. I'm bringing up Bellator because the opening match, Raymond Daniels, who hasn't been in a MMA match in nearly a decade, was facing Wilker Barros. He did the finish was basically what looked to be sort of like a super kick, which made the guy groggy and knocked him down to the floor. He then waved for him to get up. And then Daniels did basically what was a spinning back fist and then just punched him. It is one of the craziest knockouts you're probably going to see this year. Especially from a guy that was all but retired. And then the main event, the American Brent Primus beat Tim Wilde in 80 seconds via Goga Platter submission. The fans booed, and I think Brent was thinking, oh, they're booing him because he's the American and Tim Wilde's the Brit. I think they were booing because that was the main event, and I think they felt that they got shortchanged. In fact, all 4 matches that were part of the main card that ran till sort of like midnight time only went through the first round. Nothing went further. So I think they might have been booing that rather than actually him. Bellator is back with a title fight in Rosemont, Illinois this coming Saturday. The title match being Michael Chandler defending the lightweight title against Patricio Freire. Also on that card, though, Douglas Lima versus Michael Page in the semi-final of the welterweight Grand Prix, and Jake Hager's fighting again, maybe for the Lucha Underground title, because who knows if that company still exists. I used to get email updates from them because I got their free comic book download thing where you still had to sign up for that as an account on their website in order to get it. The Lucha Underground website has now become the AAA one because of the whole AAA going to Madison Square Garden. Speaking of, it's been a week since those tickets went on sale. You know how many tickets they've sold?
Not very many.
2,000.
Jiminy Christmas.
Because nobody knows who they really are, so great fucking idea there. I don't know how, the New Japan ticket sales are not that bad for Dallas, but, they're not great either. Then in terms of UFC, it was Aquenta versus Cowboy Cerrone. The main card actually went 6 matches if it didn't already. So Andrew Sanchez beat Marc-Andre Barrio, unanimous decision 29-28 across the board in the middleweights. Walt Harris beat Sergei Spikovic in 50 seconds via knockout in the heavyweights. Then in the bantamweights, a unanimous 30-27 across the board for Merab Devashvili versus beating Brad Katona. Shane Burgos defeating Cub Swanson via split decision. This one's all over the place. There was a 30-27 to Burgos. There was a 29-28 to Burgos. And there was a 30-27 to Cub Swanson. So 2 judges literally saw it completely the opposite to each other. So one judge is getting fired, aren't they? Unanimous decision in the co-main with Derek Brunson beating Elias Theodorou. 29-28, and then one judge gave it 30-27 in favor of Brunson. And then the main event, Cowboy looking on form, beating Aquatina. 49-45 on 2 of the scorecards and 49-46 on the other one. Cowboy and Owls match got main fight of the night. Walt Harris got a $50,000 performance of the night performance for his 50-second knockout. And then also headlining the ESPN Plus prelims, Macy Chazon beating Sarah Moras in the women's bantamweight division midway through the second via TKO. Also got her a $50,000 bonus. This weekend, it's all about the pay-per-views. Even though it's not on pay-per-view anymore because ESPN Plus, lol. So we're in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for this one. 2 women's flyweight matches on the UFC Fight Press prelims, along with a welterweight and a bantamweight bout. I won't mention them even though they, I'll mention them if they actually get $50,000 bonuses, because that'd be awesome. But I will run through the prelims and the main. So on the prelims, we open with BJ Penn versus Clay Guida in the lightweights. Then a women's bantamweight bout with Irene Aldana versus Beth Carrera. Thiago Mossis versus Kurt Holbau in the lightweights, and then main eventing the prelims, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Minotauro, if you want to give him a nickname so he doesn't sound like the other Nogueira, taking on Ryan Spann in the light heavyweight division. Then on the main card, opens with Francisco Triando versus Carlos Diego Ferreira in the lightweights. Then in the welterweight division, Thiago Alvarez versus Laureano Strapoli. Then in the featherweights, Jose Aldo taking on Alexander Volkanovski. Jared Cannonier versus Anderson Silva is the co-main. In the middleweights, which a lot of people are wondering, is this where Anderson retires or not? And then the main event, Thug Rose, as Cormier calls her, facing Jessica Andrade for the women's strawweight title. I feel Thug Rose is probably going to be retaining, but I could see Andrade catching her off guard as well. Andrade obviously having sort of home support. It depends if Thug Rose can get a bit shaken by that, but considering how, she basically got she was the one that was on the bus when all that crazy shit on the bus was happening with Connor throwing the barrier into the coach. I'm hoping that she's up to it. Just checking to make sure that there isn't anybody on championship stuff, major stuff that's happening. Quickly check. I think is it this week? No, that's a completely different show. Why was there like a big American name that I remember seeing on the one and card and nothing happening with it? Sage Northcutt show. That's naturally next weekend. So yeah, that's happening. Nothing major that I can see going down. So then in terms of indie stuff, which I'll quickly getting through, Beyond Wrestling from last week, even though this week's has already happened now. Episode 5, LAX beat the Best Friends. Thomas Santel beat LD Mantis Montesanti to continue on in the gauntlet match. So Montesanti, I guess, loses on the first challenge or whatever. Solo Darling beats Ashley Vox, Penelope Ford, and Vader Scott in a 4-way. Bear Country of Bear Beefcake and Bear Bronson beat Milk Chocolate of Brandon Watts and Randy Summers. Chris Statlander beat the Whisper, and the Beaver Boys beat Sliver of Dickinson and Janella in the main event. Decent-ish card. IPW's This Has to End. Which was being headlined by the Loser Leaves IPW show. So the stuff of note that happened on this, David Starr retained the IPW World title over Brian Pillman Jr. But then Robert Sharp appeared and was presented with the International Battle Royal briefcase, which guaranteed him a world title shot anywhere, anytime for the next year. Which Dan Maloney appeared and congratulated him and then attacked him. Rob Lynch beat Cody Hall by DQ because Jack Sexsmith, TK Cooper, and Spike Trivet attacked Rob Lynch. Bobby Tyler, the House of Glory Women's Champion and IPW Women's Champion. Bobby Tyler appeared and declared her hatred towards the IPW owner for not booking her. And then out came Revel Kenny and challenged her. So she retained Bobby Tyler, by the way, so I don't know what came from that. Pretty Deadly retained the tag titles for the promotion against Team Storm of Johnny Storm and Ashley Dunn. Following the Storm, Johnny verbally assaulted Dunn. only for Dunn and Andreas Cole to attack him and leave. So, and then the loser leaves IPW match with Ridgeway and Sabian. Unsurprisingly, Kip Sabian won. So Swerve, the AEW guy, didn't lose. He's still there. Chris Ridgway's gone, which I guess he means he's probably full-time Progress, considering WWE contracts. Probably. Then oh my god, this actually also fucking happened. Cinco de Mayo, Impact, and bloody AAA and everybody in something. Trying to get an idea of. So in the tag team tournament, Bengala and Puma King beat Los Mercenarios of El Tejano Jr. and Rey Scorpion. The Lucha Brothers also beat the Rascals. In the light heavyweight tournament, Eddie Edwards and Golden Magic beat Eterno. And Everno and El Hijo de Pirata Morgano beat Verdugo. How can you have two winners? Clearly drugs are involved. In the welterweights, Ciclon Ramirez Jr. beat Villano Free Jr. Astral beat Relampargo, and Laredo Kid beat Ultimo Maldito. In the middleweights, Aries beat Impossible and Ace Austin beat Drastic Boy. And then in the only heavyweight tournament match, Taurus beat LA Park and Pagano. That's a clusterfuck. An actual clusterfuck. Dear God. Did you manage to catch any of the GCW stuff, Owen?
I did.
Oh, good. So we can actually.
I don't have results, but.
Oh well, don't worry, because if I can find it further up, I watched some of the first one. Whilst having some crazy birthday fun with a friend, so that sort of distracted me a bit from doing all the proper birthday stuff. So Marco Stunt beat MJF. This is night one, which was the Blockers Hot Show in Asbury Park.
Yep.
So Marco Stunt beat MJF. Did you see that?
I missed that one, actually. I was having issues with my feed.
No problem. Orange Cassidy beat Lucky 13. I'm trying to work out which one you joined in at. Mance Warner beat Homicide.
Yeah, I was surprised about that finish, actually.
Well, what happened there then?
Well, I'm surprised because of the fact that Mance Warner, I understand why he won, because he was getting a shot against Gage on the next night, so it made sense. You build him up, but it didn't work. But I understand it's continuing the feud with Colby Carino, which is good. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Just as long as it ends up with Steve Carino showing up at GCW, I'm good.
The six-way was won by KTB over Facade, Grim Reaper, Joe Gacy, Pinky Sanchez, and Teddy Hart.
Yep.
Tony Deppen beat Jonathan Gresham. Continue his run. G Raver beat Schlack in what I guess was like murder.
Yeah, this match sucked. I hate Schlack. He's not good at all, but it's just it was just a hoss fight with a lot of violence. G Raver winning surprised me. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Dan Maff beat Chris Dickinson.
Yeah, I was shocked about that one. That got shoot-tastic for a while.
Yeah. I think that's where I sort of caught a bit of it. Jimmy Lloyd murdered Colby Carino.
Yep.
Nick Gage beat Joey Janela in some weird finish that didn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was a strange crossface, and I don't know why it ended the way it did.
It felt like it should have ended on the pinfall.
Yeah.
No, it had to be something else.
And Gage, of course, is like King Almighty as always.
Yeah, my problem is now, have Game Changer Wrestling got a title that Nick Gage is going to refuse to lose? And if they do try and take it off him, he's going to hurt a bitch.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure who's going to take the title off Gage at this point, unless they're waiting on someone to come in.
Oh,
Because Joey Janela is the only one on the current roster that makes any sense. Unless they're going to shot the title to Tony Deppen.
So then, night 2, the last one's left from Summit, Illinois. In the Fuck Fest, because apparently that's a thing, KTB won again. This one had AJ Gray, Egotistico Fantastico, Isaias Velasquez, JJ Garrett, Nate Webb, The Spider, and Ree Bentley. Marco Stunt beat Tony Deppen.
Surprised on that match, actually.
Shane Mercer beating Jake Atlas.
So crazy. They actually had a set of like risers, like choir risers on the top turnbuckle. It was insanity. And dangerous as all get out.
Mm-hmm. Orin Veidt beating Eric Ryan.
Yeah, that was a very interesting match. There was way lots of blood in that match too. A lot of light tubes involved. There was a deal that was done on a light tube that's on the bleacher.
Bloody hell. Alex Colon beat Jimmy Lloyd.
Surprising, actually, because I thought Jimmy Lloyd would win here.
Marcus Crane over John Wayne Murdoch.
Typical violence, as always.
As a catch a drink, Joey Janela beating Orange Cassidy.
This match was fun. I love how nonchalant Orange Cassidy is. I like how he hits the ropes with his hands in his pockets. And they had the battle over the glasses, and they had the battle over the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
This was just a fun match. And then it picked up towards the end, and Joey actually wins with the corkscrew package pile driver.
And then a different kind of fun. Nick Gage beating Mance Warner because, he never loses.
Yeah.
Ever.
I'm okay with that, though, because Mance Warner has no right to even be in this match. But it's funny that he's basically said he's the best deathmatch wrestler in the world. I'm just wondering if they're waiting, because it seems to me that they might be. And it wouldn't shock me, because I think that's the person I could see battling Gage next. Who's left? Seriously, who's left?
I have no clue.
Nick Gage signing with AEW confirmed.
Dear God. Very interesting thing happening over the weekend in Japan, because Tony Storm's over there. For some reason, even though I can't see the match listed, she was dressed up as bloody Minoru Suzuki. Yes.
That's super random. Oh,
I'll allow it.
we have more GCW news, actually.
Oh.
You know the upcoming shows, right?
Oh yeah, they're part of the Vans Warp Tour.
Yeah, part of the Warp Tour. I'm excited for that. I wish I could go. July 14th was announced for 5150, 25 years of homicide in Brooklyn. I think that's where Steve Corino's showing up.
If he is.
I think if they're gonna pull the trigger on that, it's gonna happen.
Does that mean GCW is officially part of the WWE family?
Dear God.
Is that why Joey's going to AEW?
Danny Havoc officially announced for the third inductee in the Deathmatch Hall of Fame.
Including Wife Beater and I can't remember the other one.
Nate Hatred, of course. That makes sense.
The only reason I bring up Stardom is because night 2 of their Golden Week stars, basically each of the brands would, or each of the stables would get their own chance to host a show and sort of present it, if you will. On night 2, which Queen's Quest were doing, Momo Watanabe and Tony Storm went to a time limit draw in a "Are we stealing this idea from Pac and Will Ospreay because nobody must lose" match. And then in the big surprise, Bea Priestley beats Kagetsu to become the new Stardom Women's World Champion. I ragged on her back in the early days of What Culture and saying that she wasn't that good. I didn't know that 4 years ago she had a brain tumor removed. So her sort of comeback story, if you will, she announced that she's going to be living full-time in Japan now, focusing mainly over there, which I guess means Will is going to be focusing over there, probably, as well. B is a big thing, and I guess is trying to make a big thing out of it, and I guess we'll be jetting out of Japan when AEW need her. So in a few weeks. Right, Progress Wrestling. Oh. So, Chapter 88, Super Strong Style 16, Day 1. Dragunov beats Chris Brooks. Kyle Fletcher beats Darga. Travis Banks over DJZ. Jordan Devlin beats Lucky Kid. Trevor Lee beats Aerostar. David Starr beats Artemis Spencer. Paul Robinson over Darby Allin. And Kyle O'Reilly beats Chris Ridgway. Swerve. Then after that was the Kaiju show. American Beetle beating Tukor. Burger Bear and Power Rangaroo beating Bear Ranger and Double Unicorn Dark. Yeah, so Double Unicorn Dark showed up. Dusto Bunny beat Ice Ice Kinder. DW Cycloptopus the Third beat Silver Potato. And in the European Championship match, the former champion who had to come out of retirement, Unicorn Party, somehow retained against Dr. Cube. And there was a present apparently for Jim, which was like some sort of, I can't remember what the present was for Jim. I think I need to go to the Indie Corner's Twitter because it's funny because obviously it's Kaiju, so I need to mention what it is. Let's have a look. Yeah. American Beetle presented the gift for international relations to Jim, and it was a DVD of the Meghan Markle supercut of Suits. So, what? Then again, does that mean Kaiju Big Battle made Meghan Markle give birth to her kid? Conspiracy theory abound. So then nights 2 and 3 of Progress will cover next. So night 2, Aerostar beat Darga in non-tournament action. Then Jordan Devlin beat Kyle Fletcher, and Dragunov beat Trevor Lee. Session Moth beat Ginny to advance, with Ginny hugging Martina afterwards and bowing, so it looks as if Ginny is going to be full-time WWE now. Another one going. Then in the no DQ 8-man, Jimmy Havoc, Mark Haskins, Ligero, and Mandrews beat Do Not Resuscitate of Eva, Mambo, Trivet, and Parker. With Eddie Dennis showing back up and hugging it out with Mark Andrews. So FSU is back, I guess. So Eddie Dennis is face again. Also, Jimmy Havoc challenged Paul Robinson to a death match on night 3 for his latch match in progress, maybe ever, who knows. Then Kyle O'Reilly beat Paul Robinson to advance in the quarters. And then Travis Banks and David Starr went to a double countout. Basically, the match got restarted after both their shoulders were down, one count for 3, and then went to the double countout with the decision that both would advance. So we're going to have a triple threat semifinal as well as a standard semifinal. Then in 6-man tag Lucha Rules, Ridgeway, Darby Allin, and Lucky Kid beat Chris Brooks, Artemis Spencer, and DJZ. And then Volta beat Trent Seven in very controversial circumstances because Trent Seven was being put in a submission and, Trent Seven passed out. However, Trent Seven's foot was under the ropes. So the referee should have broke it, but the referee never saw it. So Volta is super heel. So then day 3, the Wasteman Challenge has become traditional. Chris Brooks winning it, beating Roy Johnson, DJZ, Artemis Spencer, the OJMO, Darby Allin, Looking Kid, Connie Mills, Chris Ridgway, and Trevor Lee. Segue, because I forgot to mention it earlier, everybody thinks Chris Brooks is going to New Japan. There was a video that aired of him sort of at a bar because it had a Union Jack on a jacket and like a blade and whatever. Looking at Juice Robinson, he's showing up at the Best of the Super Junior finals, which is only a few days before Dominion. So by the looks of it, Chris Brooks is getting that fast-tracked. He's facing Juice Robinson for the US title at Dominion in a month. I don't know how you feel about the fact that he's going to lose and Chris Brooks is going to become the new champion. Owen?
I mean, if they really want to strap the rocket to him, that's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. True.
But I think it's still more. I still think Juice has a lot left in him as a champion, though.
So the semi-final, which was a three-way eliminator, Travis Banks eliminated Dragunov, and then David Starr eliminated Travis Banks. So Starr goes through to the final, and then Jordan Devlin beats Kyle O'Reilly. Not the final I would have expected. Paul Robinson beat Jimmy Havoc in the death match. Jimmy Havoc had to be taken to hospital because it went that crazy. Unsurprisingly, guess what color gear Jimmy Havoc was wearing, Owen?
Black and gold?
No, white.
Of course.
By the end of the match, it was just red. There was that much blood loss, which, I don't really like, but at the same time, there you go. And there was a sort of tribute and thank you from Jim Smallman and whatever, and Havoc himself, over the last 7 years, since the company started and whatever. There was a nice little thing there. Aussie Open retained the tag titles over Aerostar and Darga, but the 198 of Flash Morgan Webster and Wild Boar attacked them and stole the titles. Then the women's four-way. Jordan Grace retaining over Nina Samuels, Millie McKenzie, and Session Moth. However, I believe the idea was, I think it was Nina Samuels was going to be pinned by Session Moth, but Jordan Grace pulled her off and stole the pin and then cut a promo saying that, nobody's worthy of beating me. So for the third, I think, straight time, in terms of everything, in terms of people coming in and winning the titles, within about a month or two, they've turned heel. Why we couldn't have Jordan Grace as a face, I don't know. But whatever. And then in the other big pleasant surprise, David Starr beat Jordan Devlin by submission. So in theory, David Starr versus Volta is happening. The guy that's never beaten Volta, is it going to happen not in WXW, but is it going to happen in Progress? But then the problem is Eddie Dennis has still got his bloody cash in stuff, so could he get in on the shenanigans and stir shit up? We will see. Rev Pro also had a show at the Cockpit on Sunday. James Mason beating Gabriel Kidd, Kip Sabian beating TK Cooper and Rob Elias in a freeway. Zoe Lucas retaining the British women's title against Jamie Hayter. Shigehiro Irie beating Michael Oku. Josh Brodum beating Brian Pillman Jr. Shea Samuels beat Dan McGee in the no DQ match. And Aussie Open victorious over Team White Wolf as well. Oh, and the Lethal Lottery happened as well. Oh, there's the House of Glory stuff. It's because I saw Impact Wrestling. I didn't see House of Glory. I was confused. So, the Lethal Lottery that happened in Rhode Island this past Sunday for Beyond Wrestling. Orange Cassidy and Penelope Ford beat Shockwave the Robot and Vader Scott. Jake Parnell and Solo Darling over Dasher Hatfield and Poof. Chris Dickinson and Joey Ryan. Really? Beat Ashley Fox and Dick Justice. Double, really? And Kurt Stallion, Joey Janela beat Alex Reynolds and Tony Deppen to progress on to the Battle Bowl Battle Royal main event. Then we had Chris Statlander beating Kimberly, getting some revenge there. Matt Cross beating Gabriel Sky. Stevie Richards beat Anthony Green. So I guess he isn't retiring yet. Josh Briggs beat VSK. And Dickinson won the Battle Bowl Battle Royal. So that went down. I don't know who was eliminated in what order and whatever, but it happened. So, briefly running down all the stuff that's coming this weekend. We've already had the Ring of Honor stuff happening now. I don't know if we've even got results for that. P. Windsor, I'm guessing. I'll quickly go to that now. See if there is anything out of that of major note. Bar Wrestling had their show. It's going to be May. Of course they did. Tomorrow night, night 2 of the Ring of Honor New Japan War of the Worlds goes to Toronto. That's Thursday, that is. Friday, we have PWG's Mystery Vortex 6, of which we know there's a Guerrilla Warfare match, but that's all we know. Rev Pro have got their epic encounter in Bethnal Green in London on Friday, headlined by El Phantasmo taking on David Starr, along with Suzuki Goon taking on Aussie Open, I think, for the tag belt. So I guess El Phantasmo is going to be doing that match and then flying straight back to Japan for the Best of the Super Juniors. He's got a busy flipping schedule. Shine 58 happening at the Monaghan Knights of Columbus Hall, which isn't even listed, so I can't find the venue. Why that isn't up on Cage Match, I don't know. I nearly forgot the bloody name of the bloody company when it's WWN Live. I should know that. Just so I'm trying to get the actual venue for you guys. Livonia, Michigan. Shine 58 in the afternoon. And Evolve 127 in the evening. The Shine card headlined by Lumberjill Rules of Rainbow Bright defending the tag titles against the Twisted Sisters. Also, Aya Pereira faces Shotzi Blackheart for the Nova Championship. Or Aya Pereira defends, with the Nova title. Allison Kay, who just got the Shine World title back from Japan, against the woman from the DDT show and all that. Versus the debuting Samantha Heights. Whether that'll be for the title, I doubt it. We've also got Mercedes Martinez versus Sue Young, along with other things. Kimberly versus Santana. Eva Lise versus Natalia Markova. Thunder Kitty versus Brandy Lauren and Marty Bell making her return, taking on Lindsay Snow. And then the Evolve show in the evening. Austin Theory versus Adam Cole in a non-title match, the main eventing. We've also got JD Drake defending the WWN title against Joe Gacy. Cassius Ohno and Harlan Bravado teaming up to take on AR Fox and Leon Ruff. Eddie Kingston versus Kurt Stallion. Josh Briggs versus Adrian Jaude. Anthony Henry versus Juntai. And Anthony Green versus Stephen Wolf, with Brandy Lauren apparently in action as well. The following night in Indianapolis, Indiana, Evolve 128, which will have Anthony Green again in the New Talent Showcase taking on Stephen Pena. Leon Ruff, Stephen Wolf, and Yuntai in a freeway. In a couple of special challenges, Shotzi Blackheart versus Natalia Markova and Kurt Stallion versus Ace Perry. In an Evolve 125 rematch, Adrian Jode versus Harlan Bravado. Kingston and Gacy defend the tag titles against JD Drake and Anthony Henry. Right, I said retain. Am I already telling something? And then a triple main event. Spider Nate Webb challenging Austin Theory for the Evolve title. Cassius Ohno versus Josh Briggs, and Adam Cole versus AR Fox. All set to go down. Oh, that's interesting. I don't see any notice of. Oh no, there's the there's the War of the Worlds coverage. Just didn't have a big headline like most of the stuff does when they have it. I guess that's why I was confused. So we've also got, as I look through my Facebook list, Pro Wrestling Revolver, or Revolver as it's now known, its third anniversary show in Des Moines, Iowa, Friday night. Defy Wrestling up in Seattle, having their Into the Fire show, which looks to be having Penta and Phoenix on. So, hi Bucks. Then Saturday, Southside Wrestling in the UK, having their show in Stevenage. Then the Resistance Gallery in London will be having Eve, Pro Wrestling Eve's She Persisted show. Shikara's Infinite Gauntlet going down at the Wrestle Factory in Philly. We've also got Night 3 of the Ring of Honor War of the Worlds tour in Grand Rapids, Michigan. CWF Mid-Atlantic with the Wild Bunch show for the Rising Generation League, which is basically sort of their up-and-comers. Crop Circles from Excellence Pro Wrestling at the Forest Lodge in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. CCW's Tangled Web. I should probably see if I can get the card up for that one, because that might be one that Owen watches. I mean, I'm guessing that, Owen? Maybe?
Owen.
Yes.
I was trying to rewind down. You're going to be catching Tangled Web, maybe?
What?
Tangled Webs this weekend. Are you going to maybe be catching it?
When is it again?
Saturday.
Maybe. Saturday, I'm running another 5K.
Oh, probably not.
And I don't know what I'm doing Saturday night.
Tangled Web's always obviously the interesting one. This time it's Brandon Kirk versus Masada in the Tangled Web match. So Masada making his return for a little bit. In terms of the other stuff, AAW's Take No Prisoners in Chicago on Saturday night as well. And then Sunday, Rev Pro in Portsmouth, PWX's Art of War in North Carolina, Ring of Honor's War of the World Chicago, the final night of that, and Destiny Wrestling up in Mississauga, Ontario for stuff. So, because I might as well cover it now, so because we've got a lot to cover anyway next week. Results from tonight's past stuff for Uncharted Territory, which is technically Beyond's 10th anniversary show as well. I see. Dickinson, by winning Lethal Lottery, obviously got the match of his choosing. He challenged Daisuke Sakamoto at American Rana. So I guess we're building stuff with that. Dickinson beat Josh Briggs in the opener. Thomas Antel beat Brad Hollister. Johnny Cockstrong, Hardway, Nicholas Kay, and Eric Corvus victorious over Chase Burnett, Zane Silver, and Jefferson Saint. Joey Janela beat Matt Cross. With Janela on the mic saying that he's wanted this match since he was 14 because Cross inspired him to jump off of everything taller than 10 feet. With Matt Cross again getting the mic and apologizing for being that influence, which is interesting. Orange Cassidy retained the IWTV title, beating Jordan Grace. And then the main event, the death match between Ricky Shane Page and Eric Ryan. With Chuck O'Neal coming out, apparently. For some reason. The big bit of noting, I guess, from what I'm seeing from the write-up here on PW Insider, Eric Ryan pulled out syringes, stabbed Page for each cheek, and sprayed liquid from both sides. So, yeah, it was super crazy. Unsurprisingly. Not a show that's going to be to everyone's taste, so that's an interesting angle to go. And then with the War of the Worlds Buffalo show, night one of Ring of Honor's things, PJ Black beating Alex Coughlin. Kelly Klein retaining the Women of Honor title, I think. Oh, I see. The story was Kelly's original challenger pulled out due to a personal issue, even though that was never identified. And Kate Carney, who's a local Buffalo talent, sort of came out. The Allure came out with Pyro and were flirting with Riccaboni, who then went off. So the Allure were with Cabana on commentary. God, I dread to think how terrible that was. I'm just reading the write-up here. The match was a backdrop for the Allure to get their gimmick over. The gimmick's the opposite of what fans expect, that it's either going to fail miserably or get a massive amount of heat and become an undercard spectacle. Klein grabbed a mic, called them the three bitches, and dared them to come to the ring to fight, but didn't. Because, I guess, reasons. TK Ryan and Vinny Marsaglia beat Carl Fredericks and Clark Connors, the Young Japan New Lions and whatever. Shane Taylor beat Hiku Leo. Evelyn Sonada beat the Lifeblood of Tracy Williams and Mark Haskins. Roosh beat Silas Young. And then we had a 6-man with Villain Enterprises. I guess maybe retaining. I don't know if the titles were on the line. Defend with the Ring of Honor 6-man tag belts. Beating Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Jeff Cobb. Taven attacked PCO with a title belt and laid him out. But then PCO got up, so Taven ran away. So I guess they're trying to make him look strong for the Toronto show tomorrow. The Gorillas of Destiny beat Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham. And then, surprisingly, in the main event, Flip Gordon beat Bandido. You know, it's just mainly that putting it sort of on the card where they did, which is interesting. Also, afterwards, Lifeblood offered Flip Gordon a spot in the stable, but they're letting him have the chance to think about it, because obviously Flip and all those guys will probably be heading over to Japan in the next day or two anyway, so they won't be part of the final Ring of Honor show that's happening, because they're going to have to be ready over in Japan and all that. So interesting stuff. Also, I don't know why the Allure is still becoming a thing, because trying to see here. Tickets apparently going on sale for Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view next week. Earlier for obviously the members and whatever. Oh, and apparently the Bellas are going to be at the NBC upfronts for NBC, with Cena, Ronda Rousey, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Big Show at the Fox upfronts. At least according to P. Windsor. So Vince might be staying doing the UK stuff. Oh, and in a little bit of sad news, I guess, Todd Pettingill's basically going to be out of a job by the end of the month, because his radio show and station that he's been broadcasting on, WPLJ, will cease broadcasting on Friday, May 31st. He's been hosting the morning show there for 27 years. Wow. I didn't know he'd been there that long. So we'll have to see what happens there. I don't. Just quickly seeing if anything happened in the CWF Mid-Atlantic Canodal Cup as well, because I didn't mention that, because that did go down as well this past weekend. Any big stuff? So I guess in the I guess we could mention the tournament stuff. So TGA, Moss, and Jamal the Titan beat Snooty Fox and Cowboy Cool J in the first round, as did Aaron Biggs and Mike Mars, beating Strength in Numbers, Number Man, and Number Bra with granddaddy numbers. Rob Boogie Woogie Man McBride and Tank Lawson beat Ethan A. Sharp and Dirty Daddy of the Corruption. And TKO and Ulysses Damos, TKO Teddy Ireland Jr. and Ulysses OPA Damos beating Danny Vegas and Hezekiah Hoskins. In the second round, Nick Richards and Michael McAllister of the Redemption beat TJ Moss and Jamal the Titan. And I guess because there was a bye, maybe. Oh god, it was over 2 shows. That's why I'm confused. Bitdon Icos, Donald J. Bitdon and Otto Schwanz beat Aaron Biggs and Mike Mars to go on in the second round. Roy Wilkins and Jerry Carey beat Rob McBride and Tank Lawson. And then TK Opa beat Darius Lockhart and Big Time Yar of the Revolutionary to progress on to the semi-finals, I guess you could call it. So then on the main card of the finals, Cool J beat Taziah Hoskins to retain the Rising Generation League Championship. TK Opa then beat the CWF Mid-Atlantic tag titles. They beat the tag champs of Bit Don Ico to not only progress on in the tournament, but also win the titles. The All-Stars, Roy Wilkins and Eric Royal beat Michael McAllister and Cool J, who replaced the injured Nick Richards in the semi-final to progress on to the final. Snooty Fox beat Danny Vegas to retain the PWI Central Carolinas title. God, they got another title? Okay. Rob McBride, Tank Lawson, Mike Mars, and Adrian Action Jackson beat the Corruption of Dirty Daddy and also Strength in Numbers, Granddaddy Numbers, Corporate Number Man, and Number Bra in an 8-man tag. Cam Carter beat Ethan Alexander Sharp in a singles match. And then TK Opa beat Roy Wilkins and Eric Royal to become the third annual Canodal Brothers Tournament champions and also retained the CWF Mid-Atlantic tag titles as well. So that happened. So I think that is actually everything. Probably. Maybe. At least that we can cover. Next week could be interesting because WWE is heading to the UK for the go-home shows for Money in the Bank. How the hell are they going to be doing the wildcard rule? Meaning that matches that are happening, I don't even know where, somewhere in the UK, are going to get shortchanged because the talents that were supposed to be there are actually going to be in London for Raw and SmackDown tapings. So just, you know what days they are. And also, if the show's shit, the fans are basically going to run ragged on the bloody show. And if you take that into account, Triple H isn't going to be there. Stephanie's going to be there. The only people that are going to be there of note is Vince. And Vince can get pretty angsty at times, don't you think, Owen?
Could be a possibility.
So Vince could get fucking pissed. So car crash television that'll be edited fucking heavily coming your way. Maybe. Oh, I fear what could happen. So that is your lot. Get it done in about 2 hours, so a few. Do you want to close out the show, Owen? Or am I doing it? Owen? Are we going? We're still on the air.
We're still here.
Yeah. Close out the show. We're done.
Take it home. So, lots of stuff coming up on the network. We just put up a plethora of concert footage from Epcot. And there's more to come. I'm actually going to go see Flock of Seagulls tomorrow night. Looking forward to that greatly. More Voices of Liberty coming in the near future.
With that, are you going to do the opposite? You're not going to run so far away. You're going to run towards it?
In more ways than one. Yeah, so we've got also coming, we got a synopsis, the last 4 episodes of The Twilight Zone. AJ's covering those. That's going to be coming up soon. We got more AJ's movie reviews, more verses coming up. I've got Sip and Snack on the back burner. That's going to be coming up soon, so stay tuned. More Ashley content. And as I wait patiently, oh so patiently, for a specific email to show up in my inbox once more to put me back out in the fog for 29. So that's going to be your show tonight. And as always, when there are in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen a Popcast. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Vince, do something.